That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same.
Episode of Ranger and Chow.
Cheers, everybody.
All right.
Not quite sure if you all heard Ranger welcoming you over the top of my beautiful singing at the intro there, but welcome back, guys. Make sure we're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you sign up.
Beautiful singing you did.
Oh, mate. No serenading me while we're live on
No,
video.
we're going to tell you. Hey, thank you, everyone, for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, then just click on that little red button. And thank you very much for your support.
Make sure if you're interested in a bit of extra Ranger and Chow, you hit up our Patreon page. We throw up some exclusives in there. Yeah. That's the Ranger. This is the Chow. Do know that you can also order some online merchandise. If you're looking for a shirt or anything of that nature, hit us up. We can order that through for you. Other than that, what have you got for me today, big fella?
Mate, now I know we've touched on this before, but I'm gonna resurface it again, just bring it up to the boil. So we've talked about the anti-vaxxers before, right? But I heard someone commenting on this the other day, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. Now, when we talk about people not vaccinating, we just sort of like, oh yeah, crazy bastards, don't want to vaccinate. You know, why not? You're vaccinated when you travel any other place in the world. Why not vaccinate with this? Anyway, but one thing that's really interesting is they're saying to a lot of doctors and nurses and stuff like that, that if you haven't had your double vaccine shots by a certain date, you will be unemployed. Yep. You will not be working for us. Now, here's the interesting thing.
It's not just nurses and stuff. There's trucking companies out there. You know, my company is currently doing surveys to see how people feel about that idea. There's some sections of my companies that are required to do it for the areas they live in already.
The thing is, though, if you hadn't have interrupted me, thanks for that, you would have noticed that I'm getting to a point here, and that is that
I'm passionate about this subject, so continue.
These doctors and nurses have cared for these people with COVID without a vaccine. They've seen what happens to these people. They've seen them die. They've watched what goes on, and they've chosen not to vaccine still after all that exposure. So you must think to yourself, what do they know that we don't know? Or
that's exactly what I think as a on the fence half. I've had my first shot, waiting for my second. Still not thrilled about the idea, but strong-armed into it by the way that our society is these days, and have already felt the frustration of this whole nonsense of double vaccine. We were just on holidays last week, my family and I. We stopped in a beautiful little German town just outside of Adelaide.
Hahndorf?
Hahndorf, yep, Hahndorf.
You know, my great grandfather, during World War II, he was the instigator of turning Hahndorf into a German World War II POW camp.
Nice. That's something to be proud of right there. Yeah. Anything more like great fun. But no,
they have you got to go there in October. They have the Schützenfest.
No, I do plan on going back there. In fact, next holiday we will book there instead of being in the city because absolutely stunning.
However, we're asking you about the vaccine with that, mate.
We stopped at this beautiful. I don't know what it is. It was a nice place you could stop and walk through. It appealed to.
That's so good. Yeah.
It appealed to Nana and it appealed to my wife. It appealed to the kids. I'm like, yeah, cool. We'll stop here. Big sign at the entrance saying, if you're not double vaxxed, you're not allowed to enter. And I went, that rule doesn't make sense. With or without the vaccination, you can still contract the virus. You can still spread the virus. The only benefit of having the double vax is looking after yourself. If I don't want to look after myself, I should still be allowed to go and look at the beautiful flowers in the garden or go out to dinner. You know, if you choose not to get your kid immunized for all the things that they immunize them for these days. One, yes, you're mental. But two, apart from daycare, they don't stop you from taking them out in public.
No, that's right.
If your kid gets sick, they go, well, you're an idiot. Why didn't you have the vax?
There is another side to this, though, which is if you choose not to have your vaccine, you shouldn't be given priority at a public hospital. You should be put on the bottom of the waiting list because you chose not to.
And look, we had this same argument in the car park of the place where we were denied entrance. If you go down that line, people that smoke cigarettes and get cancer, you know you're going to get cancer from smoking cigarettes.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
They do that. If you're a smoker, there are certain procedures that if you haven't stopped smoking, you're not entitled to. The hospital won't move forward with them. So that is the case.
Really? I have never heard of that. But I mean,
Correct.
as far as your public health goes, is that the
Yes,
case?
it is.
That's
Yep.
what I was asking. Yeah, so that's the case in
Yep.
public health. Yep, and
Yep.
fair enough too. But I mean, where do you draw that line? I mean, you eat too many sugary foods in your life and you get diabetes. You stop getting treated for diabetes, like when you pay extra for that medication. Where do you draw the line of what self-inflicted things? You know damn well if you go out dirt bike riding every weekend, there's a chance you're going to end up in the emergency with a broken bone. If you drink excessive amounts of alcohol, there's good things going to happen to your liver. Like, where do you draw that line?
So if you're an alcoholic and you drink too much, are you entitled to a liver transplant? No? Yes?
That's it. Yeah, there's a lot of things that obviously is guidelines on. Like you say, alcoholics not getting preferences on livers. But how much of our healthcare is taking care of people that self-inflict their injuries? How many attempted suicides do we look after? How many alcoholics that drink themselves to the point of almost death that we bring back? How many people that just break every law under the sun, speeding excessively, overtaking erratically, and then crash their car? And we spend ample amount of time dealing with these people. Like, where do you draw the line of who can be looked after and who can't? And coming back to the main point of this, why can't I go have a steak at the pub because I have to wait that 3 weeks to get my next shot? I'm conforming. That is true, though. I'm conforming. Just let me have a steak.
I must say though, if you haven't had your second shot or your first shot, you haven't had any shots, I don't understand why that stops you going to the pub. Because if I've had my 2 shots, then I should be fine, right? Even if I catch it and carry it, I still should live. And even though I can still be a super spreader and all that stuff by carrying it,
that's it. That's your choice.
If you come into my pub and you haven't had any shots, that's your thing.
If I choose not to, that's my own stupidity, and so be it. But no, you shouldn't be denied. And on the flip side of things, places like venues like pubs and stuff that will eventually have to enforce this as law, they start losing patrons. They start losing their business because, you don't stop an alcoholic from buying a carton of beer at the bottle shop. The bottle shop's still making their money on that.
What happened to you at Harndorf?
Hey?
What happened at Harndorf? Did they let you in or not?
No, we turned around because you even have a thing on your COVID sign-in that tells you a little tick next to you whether you've had your double shot or not. And
you got rejected.
No, we didn't even bother going to the door. We knew we'd get rejected. I've been rejected before. I know what it feels like when it's on its way.
Anyway, well, there you go. I think we've deep dived into that one far enough today.
Yep. But
it's time to swing on roundabouts and escape from this thing and just say, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe on the little red button. And of course, there is our Patreon page as well, where you can contribute to us every week and every month, and there will be special benefits, and you can help us chip along nicely.
But if nothing else, if you guys have some burning theories on all this nonsense the government's thrown our way with vaccinations and what you can and can't do, chuck some comments in. I really want to see some people that are fired up about the government telling us what to do. All right, cheers to you, Rangan.
Cheers, big ears. See you on the next one. I wouldn't let you into my pub either, you filthy worm.
You what?
I said I wouldn't let you into my